Did you know that 70% of readers will stop reading a book if they don't connect with the characters in the first few chapters? Or that stories with strong emotional depth are 40% more likely to be shared? Those are some pretty shocking stats, right? And they prove just how important it is to create the right chemistry between you, your characters, and your audience. If you've ever wondered why some stories keep you hooked from the first page while others fall flat, the answer lies in the chemistry of storytelling. It's not just about having a good plot or cool characters, it's about how those pieces fit together to create something that clicks. In this guide, I'm going to show you exactly how to craft stories that resonate, surprise, and leave a lasting impact. By the end, you'll know how to turn your words into emotional reactions, build characters who feel real, and create conflicts that draw readers in. Ready to learn the secrets behind better chemistry in storytelling? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Alchemy of Words. Crafting compelling chemistry. Words are your tools, and how you use them creates the magic. Great storytelling begins with selecting the right words that will strike an emotional chord. Think of it like a recipe. Every word serves a purpose, and the more precise you are, the better the outcome. You wouldn't toss random ingredients into a dish, right? The same goes for your writing. Each sentence should serve the story, push the plot forward, or reveal something important about a character. The concept of show, don't tell is often discussed, but it's more than just a rule. It's the essence of creating chemistry. Instead of saying, "He was angry," show the anger through actions or dialogue. When you write, imagine your character's emotions as chemical reactions. What would cause the character to explode? What triggers a shift in their mood? This technique creates tension and draws readers in, as they feel more like witnesses than passive readers. A fascinating study by the University of California found that words that evoke sensory experiences, those that appeal to sight, smell, sound, touch, or taste, create a stronger bond between the reader and the story. By engaging multiple senses, you make the story feel more real, and readers can connect on a deeper level. For example, instead of saying, "The storm was loud," describe the deafening roar of thunder that rattled the windows, or the sharp sting of rain on the skin. Chapter 2: Molecular Motivation. Understanding your character's reactions. What makes characters believable? Their motivations. Think of each character as a molecule in a grand experiment. Each has a purpose, and their reactions shape the outcome of the story. In the same way that molecules react to their environment, characters should react to the events around them in ways that make sense based on their personality, background, and desires. One strategy to create compelling characters is to ask yourself, what do they want, and what's stopping them from getting it? This creates conflict, which is the fuel for storytelling. According to author James Scott Bell, every character needs a want, something they're striving for, and a need, something they may not even realize they need but will come to understand by the story's end. This distinction between want and need creates the tension that makes a story exciting. Take, for example, the character of Harry Potter. His want is to defeat Voldemort and become the hero. But his need, something he doesn't fully grasp, is to accept his identity and trust in the people who support him. This subtle layering of motivations is what makes Harry's journey feel so real. To make your character's motivations even more compelling, consider their inner struggles. A study published in Psychology Today showed that people connect more deeply with characters who face internal conflicts. These characters seem more relatable and human because we all struggle with personal dilemmas. Whether it's deciding between love and duty or wrestling with guilt and redemption, these internal reactions add depth to your characters, making them more interesting and memorable. Chapter 3: Catalyst for Conflict. Stirring up the drama in the world of chemistry. A catalyst is a substance that speeds up a reaction without being consumed by it. In storytelling, conflict is that catalyst. It's what accelerates the plot and forces your characters to revolve. Without conflict, there's no story, just a collection of random events. Conflict can take many forms: external, like an enemy or obstacle, or internal, like self-doubt or moral dilemmas. One of the most important things to remember is that conflict must be relevant. Random or forced conflict will only confuse readers. Instead, tie every conflict back to your character's motivations. If a character is trying to escape an abusive relationship, the conflict could be the fear of losing their support system. If they're striving for success, the conflict could be a competitor who's always one step ahead. Another critical aspect of conflict is its escalation. The University of Chicago found that narratives with rising tension tend to engage readers more effectively. This is why great stories often begin with a small problem that gradually grows into something larger. In The Lord of the Rings, for example, the initial quest to destroy the One Ring seems simple enough, but as the story progresses, the stakes become higher, and the danger more immediate. Additionally, creating relatable conflict can increase engagement. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that readers connect more with stories where the conflict resonates with their own experiences or desires. For example, conflict in a story about a character overcoming imposter syndrome is highly relatable to many readers and can trigger strong emotional reactions. When you build conflict, remember that it's not about piling on problems just for the sake of drama. The best conflicts test your characters, reveal their true selves, and ultimately push them toward growth. By strategically placing your characters in situations where they must make tough decisions, you force them, and your readers, to face the story's core theme. Don't forget to subscribe for more storytelling secrets. We've got a lot more to explore on creating unforgettable narratives. Chapter 4: Elements of Surprise. Unpredictability in plotting. Surprise isn't just a fun twist, it's a powerful tool to keep your readers on their toes. Just like how a chemical reaction can have unexpected outcomes, a good plot twist can shake up the entire direction of your story. But the key to a good surprise isn't randomness. It's about creating moments that feel inevitable, even when they catch the reader off guard. The best surprises are built with subtle clues and foreshadowing. They don't come out of nowhere. They arise naturally from what has already been established in the story. Take The Sixth Sense, for example. The twist at the end is shocking, but when you look back, all the clues were there. This is what makes the twist so satisfying. In fact, research from The New Yorker suggests that the most effective plot twists are those that align with the character's journey. They should challenge the character's beliefs or expectations, which in turn challenges the readers as well. This creates a deeper emotional response. To pull off a successful surprise, you need to misdirect your audience. One technique to do this is to focus on a subplot or secondary character and make the reader think it's the most important part of the story. Then, when the twist happens, it should force the reader to re-evaluate everything they've just read. This technique is used in many great thrillers and mysteries. When you create an element of surprise, make sure it serves the story. A plot twist for the sake of a twist can feel cheap. It should push the character's arc forward or reveal something essential about them. Surprise works best when it creates more tension and raises the stakes. Chapter 5: Bonding with your audience. The power of emotion. It's not enough to just surprise your readers. You have to make them feel something. Strong emotional connections are what make a story memorable. Emotions drive human behavior, and when you tap into this, you create an experience that resonates far beyond the page. The best way to bond with your audience is by making your characters' emotional journeys feel authentic. Author Stephen King often talks about how important it is to connect the reader to the characters on an emotional level. The most important thing in any story is the emotional truth of the characters, King says. This truth isn't always about big gestures or dramatic moments. It's about showing vulnerability, fear, hope, and joy in a way that's relatable. Research shows that emotionally charged stories are more memorable. According to a study by the Journal of Consumer Research, people are more likely to recall stories that trigger strong emotions, particularly those that make them feel empathy for the characters. When you make your readers care about your characters, they'll be more invested in the outcome. To create emotional depth, use pacing to your advantage. Slow down in moments where your character faces an emotional struggle. Allow the reader to feel the weight of the situation. Whether it's a personal loss, a difficult decision, or a moment of self-doubt, letting the reader sit with that emotion can create a strong bond. Also, remember that emotion doesn't always have to come from conflict. Small, tender moments of connection can be just as powerful. For example, in The Fault in Our Stars, the emotional moments often come not from the larger struggles, but from the quiet, intimate moments between the characters. Chapter 6: The Final Reaction. Crafting the perfect resolution. All great stories need a satisfying conclusion. The final reaction in a chemical experiment is often where everything clicks into place, and the same is true in storytelling. The resolution should tie up the loose ends of your story and provide a sense of closure. But just as important, it should leave your readers with something to think about long after they finish reading. The perfect resolution doesn't always mean a happy ending, but it should be satisfying. A great conclusion feels earned. It's the moment when all the character development, all the conflicts, and all the emotional highs and lows pay off. It's like a chemical reaction coming to an end. It's where everything finally makes sense. Think about The Great Gatsby. The ending isn't happy, but it's powerful. It wraps up the story's themes and character arcs, and it leaves a lingering feeling of melancholy and contemplation. The story isn't tied up neatly with a bow, but it ends in a way that resonates with the reader's emotions. To make sure your resolution works, ask yourself, does this ending feel true to the journey? Does it match the stakes? If your character has spent the whole story struggling with self-doubt, a sudden and simple solution will feel out of place. The resolution should reflect everything your character has gone through, even if it's bittersweet. Don't be afraid to leave a little room for interpretation. The best endings often spark discussions. Inception, for example, leaves the audience questioning whether the protagonist is still in a dream or has finally woken up. It's this ambiguity that makes the ending unforgettable. Finally, consider the emotional arc of the story as a whole. Did your characters grow? Did the story's themes come to a satisfying conclusion? A resolution that brings closure to the emotional journey will make your story feel complete, even if not all questions are answered. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more storytelling tips that will help you create chemistry in every story you write. Keep practicing, and watch your writing spark.